Are you saving every penny to buy a house because you're terrified of throwing money away on rent? Well, let me tell you an even more painful truth. That house you're dreaming of isn't an asset. It's a money-grinding machine disguised as the American dream. While you're proudly boasting about owning a pile of bricks, the bank, the government, and the plumber are the ones who truly own your wallet. Today we're going to dismantle the math behind the lie that you must buy a house at all costs, and I'll show you why renting is actually the faster path to wealth in 70% of cases. We're all trapped in a story passed down from our grandparents. Renting is burning money, sign of failure and immaturity. But let's get real. That story was written by people who bought houses for the price of a few months' groceries, and it's promoted by real estate agents with their picture-perfect smiles. Panicking. To borrow a mountain of cash to buy something you'd QA and afford just because of social pressure? That's planned financial suicide. Let's be clear, your home is often a massive expense masquerading as an investment. Today's economy, a real asset generates cash flow. A house you live in? It just consumes your cash, month after month. You're confusing a place to live with a financial tool. Most people think every mortgage payment is a brick they're adding to their personal wealth. Wrong. A huge chunk of that payment disappears forever into what I call irrecoverable costs. Expenses that are just as bad as rent, if not worse. First, there's the interest you pay the bank. For the first 10 years of a 30-year loan, about 70 to 80% of your monthly payment is pure interest. You're not paying yourself. You're just renting money from the bank. Second, property taxes. You think you own that land? Just try not paying your property taxes for a year and you'll find out who the real landlord is, the government. And this cost only goes up over time. Then comes the maintenance nightmare. A house is a physical object that's constantly trying to fall apart. Leaky roofs, busted pipes, broken air conditioners. These aren't value-adding renovations. This is just the cost of keeping the place from crumbling around you. Expect to spend 1 to 2% of your home's value on this every single year. And don't forget transaction fees. Every time you buy or sell, you're handing over 6 to 10% of the home's value to brokers, lawyers, and for taxes. That chunk of cash could rent you a luxury apartment for a whole year. You criticize renters for making their landlords rich? As a homeowner, you're remaking an entire ecosystem rich from the banks and the government all the way to the locksmith down the street. So how do you know if you're being scammed? Just like we use the P/E ratio for stocks, real estate has its own magic mirror. The price-to-rent ratio. This cold, hard number will wake you up from any home-buying fantasy. The formula is simple. Take the total price of the house and divide it by the total annual rent for a similar property in the same area. If the number is below 15, congratulations. Buying in that area is likely a good deal. But if it's above 20, that's a massive red alert. The math is screaming at you, rent now. In major cities like New York, London, or Sydney, this ratio often soars to 25, 30, or even higher. When that happens, you're basically getting to live in $1 million property for a ridiculously low price. You're letting the landlord shoulder all the risks of a market crash, foundation cracks, or a fire, while you just get to enjoy your life. Buying a house when the price-to-rent ratio is over 20 is like buying a $1,000 cup of coffee just because you do, unlike borrowing a mug from the cafe. You're not a smart owner. You're a philanthropist for the real estate market. Now let's talk about something your family never brings up at dinner. Opportunity cost. That $100,000 down payment? The moment you sink it into a house, it becomes dead capital. It generates zero cash flow. You can't use it for emergencies, and you can't reinvest it. If you had put that same $100,000 into an S&P 500 index fund, which has historically returned about 10% a year, it would double every 7 years without you lifting a finger. The harsh reality, confirmed by Nobel-winning economist Robert Shiller, is that over the last 100 years, real home prices, after you account for inflation, have barely budged. The people who get rich from real estate are usually those who get lucky riding a speculative bubble, not because houses are some superior asset class. In today's fast-moving economy, flexibility is an incredibly valuable yet invisible asset. The ability to just get up and go is a superpower. Renter is like a free night. If a job offer with a 50% raise pops up in another city tomorrow, you just need 30 days to pack your bags. no strings attached. A homeowner, on the other hand, is a prisoner of geography. You are nailed to one spot. Want to move? You have to deal with putting up a for sale sign, having dozens of strangers walk through your bedroom, and then forking over at least 6% of your home's value to an agent. And if the market is frozen, you either miss a life-changing career opportunity or sell at a gut-wrenching loss. Buying a house is basically betting against your own future mobility. And ask yourself this: do you own your home, or does your home own you? This is a truth that doesn't show up on any spreadsheet. Homeownership is an unpaid part-time job. When you're renting and the dishwasher breaks, you make one phone call to the landlord. You spend your Saturday mornings grabbing coffee or learning a new skill to boost your income. When you own the home and the dishwasher breaks, you spend your Saturday covered in grease trying to fix it. You're not just paying for the house with money, you're paying with your time and your peace of mind. Many people buy a house seeking stability, but what they often find is constant anxiety. Anxiety about rising taxes, a new development blocking their view, or skyrocketing insurance premiums. The truly smart renter knows how to outsource all that stress to the landlord so they can focus on what really matters, building their own liquid financial empire. So after tearing down this old myth, what's the alternative? The answer is the rent and invest strategy. Here's how you become a mobile millionaire. First, turn that down payment into a money-making machine. Instead of burying $100,000 in a foundation, put it into index funds or other assets that generate income for you. Second, invest the difference every month. In most cases, the total cost of renting is less than the total cost of owning. Once you factor in the mortgage interest, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, you have to be absolutely disciplined. Take that monthly savings and reinvest it automatically every single month. This is where the magic of compound returns comes in. While your friend's house value struggles to keep up with inflation, your investment portfolio, powered by the innovation of the world's greatest companies, is compounding and growing exponentially. Over time, the wealth gap between a disciplined renter and a debt-laden homeowner can become a vast chasm. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should rent for your entire life. You should buy a house, but only when it makes sense. Buy when the lifestyle value is more important to you than the investment value. You want a yard for your dog, or you want to paint the walls purple, and you're willing to pay for that luxury. Buy when you know for a fact you'll live there for at least 10 years. That way, the huge transaction costs get spread out and won't bleed you dry. And most importantly, buy when the math allows it, when that price-to-rent ratio is below 15. Imagine this. 20 years from now, your friend who bought a house is still chipping away at their mortgage, complaining about another leaky roof. And you're sitting on a beach somewhere, checking your multi-million-dollar investment portfolio on your phone, smiling because you didn't let an outdated script dictate your financial future.
Homeowners might have the pride of ownership,
But savvy renters have the pride of freedom. If you're still watching, congratulations. You have a sharper financial mind than 90% of people who blindly chase debt. Don't let society's old-fashioned ideas trap your future. If you want to learn more ways to hack the system, expose the lies we're told about money, and build a financial empire on your terms, not the bank's, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Like this video if it just saved you from a 30-year debt sentence, and comment "I choose freedom" if you're ready to become a mobile millionaire. I'm Bob Scripley, and we'll meet again when your account is full and your mind is free. See you soon.